Last week, we heard from a group gathering signatures to put abortion rights on the November ballot. Tonight, we hear from a group called It Goes Too Far, which is opposed to that initiative effort. And joining us now is Joanna De La Cruz with It Goes Too Far. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ted, for having me.
It Goes Too Far. Why that title?
Because this amendment simply goes too far. We're a campaign that's made up of individuals from across the political spectrum, pro-life individuals, pro-choice individuals, and we've all come together to say, we have a number of beliefs on where the limits on abortion should be, but we all believe that there should be some common sense limits. And this amendment simply has none. In fact, it simply couldn't be more extreme in expanding abortion. If you're someone who believes that a doctor should be a required part of the abortion process, if you believe that parents should be in the know, if you believe that there should be some limit based on fetal development, if you believe that safety standards and regulations should be in place to protect women, then this amendment is not for you.
The act, the proponents say that it protects pregnant patients in the state. It protects those patients. Are they wrong?
They are. In fact, it does exactly the opposite. Under this amendment, it would be almost impossible for long-standing safety precautions that protect the health of women and girls to stand. And one of those is the required medical doctor. Actually, if you read the amendment, you will not find the word doctor or physician anywhere in this amendment. In fact, in Section 3A2, it changes it to healthcare professional, which under Arizona law actually refers to a whole list of individuals from chiropractors to acupuncturists to massage therapists to physical therapists to your daughter's school nurse. It's quite a broad term. And the medical doctor, such a critical part of the doctor-patient relationship would simply be no longer required.
So, as far as viability, this is obviously a determining point here. They are saying that viability is determined by medical professionals and by the pregnant woman. You saying that's, how do you respond to that?
So that's a common misconception and a common way that voters are being deceived, frankly, by the proponents of this amendment. They know that if they put in there a straight abortion until birth, that Arizona voters would not be in favor of that. So they've tried to put in what looks like a limit at viability, but is in fact in practice not a limit, because this mental health exception, this health exception, we know based on over 50 years of precedent, starting with the Doe v. Bolton ruling in 1973, is quite liberally construed to mean anything from a financial situation to the age of the mother to simply experiencing stress. So really it's a rubber stamp for anything that the provider, in this case not even necessarily a medical doctor, wants it to be.
So when they say that it's determined by using accepted clinical standards and evidence-based medicine, you're saying that's not enough?
We're saying attorneys that have looked at this have said that is too vague. We don't know what that means, and that's simply going to allow a rubber stamp for abortions up until birth. It's vague language.
After viability, the Act calls for options to protect life and the physical and mental health, as you referred to. Should those options not be there?
What should be happening is that voters should be told the full facts about this amendment. They should be told that in practice under this amendment, abortion would be allowed all the way until birth with simply a rubber stamp from an individual who may not be a medical doctor. That's what voters need to know, and frankly, they're not being told. And I think it's disrespectful to Arizona voters to ask them to put something in the Arizona Constitution that would be almost permanent and that would have long consequences for women and girls for years to come and not respect them enough to give them those facts. Arizona women deserve better.
It seems like a sticking point here is medical health care professionals. You're not seeing them there, they are seeing them there, correct?
Actually, Arizona law defines that term. So if you look at the term treating healthcare professional in Arizona law, all those individuals I mentioned, chiropractors, acupuncturists, podiatrists, those are all individuals that are covered under that term. And proponents knew exactly what that term meant when they crafted this amendment.
The idea that families and medical providers and not politicians should decide on reproductive health, that is also a major factor as far as this initiative is concerned. Is that wrong?
Voters should decide on these issues based on having all of the facts in front of them. As Arizonans, we think for ourselves, we're independent thinkers, and we like to be respected enough to be given the information. The number of ways that proponents are deceiving voters simply goes on and on. Another one of those is miscarriage care. They are scaring women and telling them that without this amendment, they'll not be able to get miscarriage care, and that's simply false. Women can get miscarriage care today, they'll be able to get it tomorrow. And by conflating miscarriage care with abortion, that's just another way that they're trying to deceive Arizona voters who, if they were honest, would just not be supportive of this amendment.
Do you support the legislature sending referrals to put more things on the ballot? Because the line of thinking is the more things you put on the ballot, the more confused the voters are going to be. What do you think about that idea from lawmakers?
Well, I know there's been a lot said publicly about what they may and may not do. Again, our coalition is made up of people with varying views on where limits should be. We're focused on this amendment and that this amendment goes too far, and we're going to continue educating voters about that across the state all the way up until November.
Last question. Did the Supreme Court's ruling, the state Supreme Court's ruling, how did that affect your operations? I mean, I would think you'd be concerned.
It's actually given us even more opportunities to educate voters. Voters are talking about this, they're wanting to understand what's going on with this initiative, and we're there to educate them and show them the language and say, hey, this goes too far.
Joanna De La Cruz, it goes too far. We're glad to get you on the program and heard your thoughts. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Ted. Thank you.